breakdown. I've changed my headset and hopefully on Friday there was an AUD-NZD trade that gave a 6% profit. I do like this pair. It doesn't correlate with any other pairs. You'll find that if say the US dollar is strong, meaning like AUD, USD, the AU would be weak, you'll find that that doesn't then necessarily mean that on the AUD NZD pair that the NZD goes up. It's yeah, it's not. It's very much a negative correlation with well, I wouldn't say negative, because negative means it goes the opposite way. It just doesn't really get affected with anything else. So my throat a bit. I haven't. I'm using I will be clearing my throat a lot, so I won't be saying sorry every time. With NZD, with the AUD NZD last week, my initial, if I look at what the daily was showing, or on the weekly, just to quickly show you, the weekly, it was actually very bullish. And so what we do know is that if we know that if price is going like this, we don't buy up this area. Of course, we're looking to buy at this area. If price is up there, we'd be looking more at buying the pullback, okay? And that's what my idea was with looking at that weekly. So onto the daily. The daily had already commenced the pullback. So the trade, I'm going to circle the trade because then at least we know where it's at. It's that one there. So on the daily, we had the push, which is like the impulse, correction, impulse, and the correction, and it's basically the correction we were looking at. And we've got a higher high being placed here. We get another higher high. So if there's going to be a higher high, there's got to be some sort of break that's going to come down, which is there. We drop down to the 4 hour. get this push, we get a correction. That there is the higher low, and it goes to the higher high. And as you see, price doesn't clear there. So when price breaks below this point, this is all just consolidation. When price breaks below this point, I can safely say that the 4 hour is bearish, and I'm then looking at this leg here. So on this 4 hour, we have a bearish leg. We're bullish at this point internally. Bearish on the external swing, the main swing, but bullish internally until we then break below this point. And when we break below this point, we've now got the internal structure of the 4 hour turning bearish, and that there is a good sign. So now you've got internal, external, and it's lining up with the daily, and we know that where things are at on the weekly. So drop to the 1 hour, and as we see, we've got this going here, and that's an impulse, correction, impulse, correction. So on the correction, I'm already knowing, okay, when price starts correcting itself on a 1 hour, this is my green light to start looking at some things. So my levels, how I find my levels. So when price was up here, I looked to the left, and I started thinking, okay, so where has price sold off from? I'm only looking for selling. I'm not looking for buying. This here was a strong sell-off. And really, when I look at it, that one was the only one. If I go to the 2 hour, I want you guys to see what I mean about clean levels. That level, look how price sits on that, opens up and takes off. Look how the wicks respect the level. Look how these wicks, see how it's respecting the level? There. So I know that all I need to see now is, and seeing that this is when you're dropping down to the 1 hour, the half hour, all we need to see now is momentum. All right. So with momentum, we can see price starts rejecting. We get a strong rejection here, and with momentum, we break the level. And all I do then is I'm waiting to see the candle open. As we know about accumulation distribution, the candle opens, it finds its way up, it stalls around this level, and only so you're going to wait. You're going to wait for the stalling. Okay, so if we look at this, oh, that's on the 15. It's not going to show much. Unfortunately, I can't, because it's not in real time, I can't show you how this candle looked, but I'm pretty sure in the server I sent a shot of the candle being bullish into that area right there, and when it got there and it was stalling, that's when I enter the manual. I don't go pending orders, no limit orders, a manual entry, and basically watching it tank down. Now, my target is always going to be this point because that's that's a buying point. But the beauty of doing these sort of things is when you look at where the 4 hour is, you've got a high chance of a TP to make it all the way down to this 4 hour low, which would give you a 13%, just about 13%. If I show you where the daily low was, there's the daily low, and have a look at how price targeted the daily low. So you can see what I mean. It's from daily all the way down to the half hour, but then going back out to the dailies, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily for your take profit areas. I think what I'm going to do eventually, I will definitely try and if I can get to say 3 or 4%, move it to break even, or just move it to 1R and just let the thing run, because I am missing out on quite a bit of, like, I shouldn't complain. 6R, I should, I'm happy with that anyway. I'm thankful for that, but it's happened quite a bit this past few weeks where some of these runners has gone to 30R. So um, that's audnzd. I hope I explained it well enough in how I found that level. If I was buying, I'd be looking at areas that have sharp buying, like like that sort of thing. That sort of thing there. Yeah, where it buys sharply. That buys sharply. Um, so I'd be looking at all that as well. Um, I'll show you. I'll just show the USD CAD trade, which was this one, and see that was 7.5. But have a look at how that price has tanked, and I mean that's seven. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's 30R, just that alone. And it's not like it's not like the price came back and took you out to keep going. This is just momentum of price. I mean, look at that. If I held it just a bit longer, I I closed it off in here somewhere. And look at that. An hour later, or a few hours later, it's a 20R. I mean, Jesus. So I'll just show where things went and how I came about this trade. Um, so you can see that there's a strong demand or support area here, and it's rejected. That same area has been rejected. It's a respected area, so you can expect some sort of reaction to come in here, and a lot will just depend on the structure. If it was going up, you'd expect it to retest that to keep going up. In this case, it was coming down. We can see how. Okay, so that's what I was seeing. And if it gives trouble with the like when you map things out, just go to the when this happened here, I had the weekly go bearish, and I know I said I don't really look at the weekly much, but I still keep it in mind, because it's good to sort of have an idea that the weekly could still be your target. If it was bearish, the weekly lower low could always be your target. On the daily, we basically had a similar thing happening where we've got lower low, lower high coming in, turns bullish in here. You find that actually closes above that, because I was actually checking that, and so at that it breaks this structure and it tanks its way down. So that's where the daily was sitting. So when I saw this, price was in here somewhere. So the daily was bearish, and that's why I've got these things noted in here. The 4 hour, yeah, it starts making its way down, and as we see, it goes bearish, it corrects, bearish, bearish correction. So it's these impulse corrections that I'm always looking out for, and it was that correction there that tapped nicely into that strong support demand zone. So we've broken that quite cleanly on the 4 hour. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, just like audnzd, I'm looking at the 1 hour now, and if I can see something, I'll look to write it down. I'll to carry on things. So um, I think, okay, so on the 1 hour, it was the same thing. It starts, it's bearish, and then it turns bullish. And the minute it starts turning bullish like this, that there's, it's a pullback of some sort. And I've got a feeling that when I was over here somewhere, I was also pimping at the half hour. Hour, I know there's a few lines in here, but the half hour high or low was this one here. Sort of looking for price to basically take this out and close below it to tell me that the 30-minute has actually turned. So it's where I think a lot of people tend to sort of think, okay, I'm in the area of interest here. Now I've got to look for selling, and they start sort of seeing things like this happen and all that, and it's like, and then they jump in. But really, they really need to be looking at this one here, because that is the higher low that really has to be taken out before you can then think, all right, 30-minute is bearish. So when that 30-minute turned bearish and the 1 hour, you had this candle all the way down here. Prior to, well, I was already looking for it anyway, but I was looking at selling points, and there really wasn't like a lot in that specific range. This was one. We sold off strongly here. I think that may have also been, I think there would have been a 4 hour. Yeah, there was, no, that was another one. No, well, there was this one I did mark in, but it was, yeah. So that's that one there. I'll just delete that for a minute. And yeah, same thing where breaks that level, price broke the level, and it pulled back, and it basically came all the way up. But because the way price moved, it didn't just stall here. It was retracing all the way back in. So I wasn't entering it. I was waiting. I was waiting for price to push its way down. And this is where you just got to learn. There is no secret method to this sort of thing. You can look on the 1 minute time frame and just have a look at what price is doing around this level. If it starts showing like, a clean change of character or something, showing something there, that looks something like, like that, like some sort of quasi sort of pattern or something, um, if you can see that in there, then yes, that's a really good confluence. But don't take that literally with what I said. There is no secret way in knowing. This is even, I'll say now, this is still 50-50 in how you play this part out and how price accumulates and distributes. So in the case of this one, you will look. All I'll say is that most of the time, if the level is right, it will retrace to that level. It'll stall a little bit and it will take off, and there wouldn't be much drawdown. So there was a little bit of drawdown in this one, but being a major pair, this was all right. I didn't mind this. As for pip spread wise, I am lucky. I have a zero spread account I had 2 0 spread accounts with Fusion Markets. So, I mean, there is a bit of a commission price, but that's all right. But anyways, price, it did pull back to that level, and it tanked, and it really tanked. And so as you can see, there's another one there. So although I don't think it would have triggered me in, but when I see these sort of things happening like that, I mean, jeez, I still, yeah. So if I keep going on USDcad, because I did actually have this plotted out going into Friday last week, because I did see on the weekly, I saw where we had price bounce, we had a liquidity swept here, and then it took off, and I always thought we're going to get some sort of reaction in here when price entered back in here. So on the daily, price was is still very bearish. In fact, it's coming off this higher low, but you know that price has to pull back, and there's more than enough pips in this to be pulling back, and you're getting quite a bit in it. So on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, so on the 1 hour, if I show you these levels, we buy here, we buy here, we bought here, yeah, we bought there. I just wanted to mark these out. We bought here, we bought here. I didn't mark this one in, but we bought here as well. So knowing that, when you start seeing bullish behavior, and you're on the half hour, I want you to see how we bought here, we break this level, but The way we break that, it tends to be more like a doji style. You want to see your volume sort of candle, like